And we are live.
Wow, hello.
Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube? Everybody that's seeing us right now. My name is Sam, or SEL0320. I have a featured guest, amazing reviewer, amazing director, awesome friend.
Thank you. It's Adele from RollCredits. Hello, everybody out there.
Believe it or not, y'all, we are not going to be doing anything about Marvel or like any conventional movie. We're not doing a vlog. This is actually going to be a TV review on an anime. And I have been like kind of in love with this anime for about a good year. I just got introduced to it maybe like 5 months ago, and I've looked at every episode up until the second season now. And the name of the anime is Sword Art Online. And I don't know how to describe it. It's just one of the better animes I've ever seen. Like practically, story-wise, and just generally the look and the feel of it. What do you think about it, Adele?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say I haven't seen tons and tons of anime, but I've seen quite a bit, and I have to say that this Sword Art Online is completely different from anything that I've really ever seen before when it comes to anime. I've only seen the entire first season, so there is the second season. Is it halfway through the second season now?
It's on episode 11, and I didn't look at last night's episode. But basically, what happens is on Hulu, or if you got it's another thing. I think it's Crunchyroll. They have it hosted online. Like so, on Saturdays around like 1 o'clock time frame, they release out the next episode. And I think that they're gonna probably try to end it on like I think 25 episodes. But right now, it's on episode 11. And it's been insane. I'm not even going to go into that. We'll say that for another time to review that.
Okay. Well, so I've only seen the first season, and that's 25 episodes in the first season. And so what, they're on episode 11 of the second season, and is it also 25 episodes second season?
They haven't told us anything. Like they've
Oh,
kept it
wow.
under wraps for the most part. Like honestly, the whole season I think is already done, but they're releasing it like you're looking at it on television, which is good. Because I mean, to me, Hulu is really the new television. I don't think too many people look at basic cable. If local channels were on online, I think more people would actually do online all the time anyway. I don't look at
Hmm.
TV anymore. But yeah,
Yeah.
Hulu is a genius for that.
Yeah, you're right. People don't really watch, television these days. It's a whole different way of watching television programs through
Yeah.
things like Netflix and Hulu and all of that.
Yeah.
And I am no longer living in the States, so I am missing out on Netflix. No Netflix in Australia. It's
Mm.
sad days.
Man, that stinks.
It does, but apparently Netflix is coming, but it's not here yet.
Oh man, I pray it gets to you soon.
Me too. Me too.
Is there any way around that? I mean, have you, anybody been able
Um,
to get around it?
oh, I think there are all sorts of like if
Ah,
you're
okay.
super tech savvy and you've got all the cracks and make if you can make your Apple like Mac think like its IP address is coming from the States. I don't know. I'm not super tech savvy, but
We'll talk later. We'll talk
okay.
later. Anyway, getting back focused.
Okay.
Um, this awesome anime. I'll read the synopsis of it from IMDb, so everybody kind of get a grip of it. The year is 2022, and gamers have lined up for the launch day of the new game Sword Art Online, a hotly anticipated MMORPG that lets players connect to an immersive virtual reality world with special helmets called Nerve Gear. Kirito is one such gamer who is eager to jump back into action, having spent a great deal of time as a beta tester, and quickly becomes friends with the newbie warrior Klein. But soon, Sword Art Online's 10,000 players discover that they are not able to log out of this game, and the only way to return to their physical bodies is to beat 100 levels of a tower that has a final boss. It's so that's the synopsis of it. When I first heard of the premise of it, I was like, because me and Joe, we were really hyped up about the new game Destiny. That's been like consuming my time like crazy. Like I've been working, but when I go home, I just play Destiny. And Destiny, in and of itself, it's not just a regular conventional first-person shooter. It has MMO style RPG kind of elements to it, where you actually are immersing with other characters. You have your own avatar that you can create from the ground up, and you can do really anything you really want to in the game as far as the story and the plot and interaction with the characters. And so me and Joe had heard about this anime, and Joe had looked at it at first, and I started it, and I was like, man, this kind of looks kind of weird. And then I was like, putting myself in the midst of this, like, okay, having your own avatar that you can have for yourself virtually, and then all of a sudden you're stuck in this world, and if something happens that you die, that's it. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, what is gonna happen with these characters? How are they gonna add the real human element of paranoia and fear and people that change their mood swings based on reality seeking in? And I think that this anime exemplifies that on such a deep level, on so many different things that happen, you know. But what was your take, I guess, when you first
Yeah,
got introduced to it?
when I first got into it was you who introduced me to it, wasn't it? Yeah, you're the one who told me to watch it. Okay, yeah. And you told me to get onto it. And yeah, it's you're watching somebody inside a game situation, and it's it's kind of weird at first. It really did take me a couple of episodes to really get the vibe of, okay, we've got our main hero character is actually in a coma in the real world, but what we're following and living with him through is in this virtual world. But the virtual world always feels like the more real of the two worlds because that's the
Exactly.
world we spend more time in fact, like practically all our time. So it's really bizarre getting to know, okay, how does this fantasy world work? This isn't real fantasy magical world. It's a virtual fantasy magical world. So it's completely bizarre, really. But yeah, I was totally into, especially the first half of the first season was
Mhm.
really something different and special. I thought like I'd really never seen anything, uh, an idea or sort of like for that in an anime before. So
Yeah.
I'm building how they created the world, how they introduced our characters, how our secondary character, the girl, Asuna, is that her
Yeah,
name?
Asuna. Yeah.
Asuna, how she doesn't even really come in for a couple of episodes. It's not like they introduce her right away, and that's, boom, that's the female lead. They don't bring her in until a couple of episodes in, until you kind of gotten a bit more settled in the world and the environment. I thought that
Yeah.
was really clever.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the way that they position certain characters, like I don't know how to describe it. Because when you first meet the main character, first of all, his name is Kirito. Or that's his avatar name, but he goes by Kirito from now on. And like you said, like I said in the summary, that he's a beta tester, so he's played the game before, and he kind of comes onto the scene kind of as a loner. I guess I would call him an introvert in the sense that like he's really good at the game, but he's not gonna like go out of his way to try to introduce himself to other people or even stick his neck out for anybody. He really just wants to focus on beating a game. And then when the realization that hits that if, and this is just a little bit of a spoiler alert, if you get killed in the game, your brain dies. Your body cannot live without the brain. There's a shock. I guess because of the nerve gear that's on their heads, it cannot be taken off. It can't be tampered with. And if they die in the game, then their brain goes dead and they're done. And like these people are stuck in this world for I don't know how long of a time frame, but it was almost years. And it is just such an interesting dynamic of how Kirito's character comes from being the loner to being the one that's the protector, and the things and the depths that he goes to do that. He goes from being like, I guess they title him a beater, which is a cheater and a person that's like really good, to the person that's a protector, the higher level, and he just goes through so many different human phases to me that I've never seen in the anime go to those depths. And like you said, by the time he met with the Asuna, that was like 6 episodes in, but I can never go without thinking that Asuna is one of the main characters of this story, you know. But yeah, it was interesting going off of him.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was really interesting. How spoilery are we getting with this discussion? I don't know. Can we talk about the second half and what happens later on? And because I really did feel a split between the first half and the second half of the structure of it.
Well, see, I agree because you asked me and you were like, okay, this is the end. You asked me this is the end,
Yeah,
right? I was like, you haven't
it
even
is.
begun.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at a certain point, like you said, the end of it, it introduces a whole other character. Her name is Lifa. And, like, it's kind of the same kind of mode as how he met Asuna, but the relationship is totally different because this is a character that's in the human world that he knows. And so, I mean, if we want to go into it, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm gonna see if anybody has any problems with it. Let me look online. We got 2 people looking. Um, I don't see a problem with it, Adele. If you want to go, all right, how about this? We can talk about the characters and the second half of it and how that plays out, because that's not spoiling anything, really.
Okay. Well, in terms, looking back at the structure of it, 25 episodes, I usually in an anime, I feel like 25 episodes, I mean, that's pretty standard, right? But for me, it's a long journey, like,
Mhm.
because of the way that each episode is structured. I don't know, how long is each episode 30 minutes? I can't remember now. Or 20 minutes. I
That's
can't
the thing
remember.
about this show. Like, it keeps you in so deep that you feel like it's an hour, but I think it's like 30 minutes or 30 or 40 minutes, I think. I don't even know.
Yeah. Right, right. Yeah, so the I thought the pacing was really, really good because it is broken down into those two main journeys. And in the middle, you have this sort of nice intermittent middle where you come out between the end of one journey and the beginning of the next journey. And I just thought that really kept me in it. So then we kind of had two separate quests, so to speak, within one giant overarching goal. And I liked that because usually in a general anime series, you just have one goal, the whole series, and like, one sort of quest that they're working on, or maybe it breaks down each episode. You have one monster that they're fighting and they have to overcome, but really it's just the same thing over and over. So with this, I really felt there was something different, yeah, in how they put it together.
Yeah, I mean, the second half felt like a whole different anime. It felt like a second season to me.
Me too.
Just, I mean, the way that the first half ended, you would swear up and down that that was the end of the season because, see, now I want to spoil it because I can't go into why.
I know.
Um,
That's okay. We're doing well so far.
yeah, we are. Well, let's just say, um, the character Asuna gets put in more danger, and it's up to Kirito to try to do everything he can to save her, but he's kind of in a helpless situation. And he meets up with the character Lifa that, like I said, plays a big role in his personal life. And you find out that the character Lifa, she is deeply, deeply in love with him in the real world. And when their characters, I guess, meet up, like there's a whole nother love element that's there that she doesn't even realize. And the progression of that, I thought that her character, in my opinion, towards the last half, and the emotional turmoil that she was really dealing with was so human felt that I thought the director did an amazing job with. I don't know who scripted it or who wrote it, or if it was brought straight from the manga, but I thought that when she broke down in front of him, you remember the scene when she broke down um,
Yeah.
in front of him, and like like you kind of empathize with both of them, but you know that there's nothing that Kirito can really do because he's on a mission. Like from the beginning, he's on a mission to do something, and then the second half, like he's on a whole nother mission. But ultimately, it's under the same goal of trying to, get everybody and keep them safe, And I mean, I don't know, it's just so well done between those three characters that by the end of the whole series, like you would never guess how it really ends. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what about the genre of this? So it's a fantasy, right?
Well,
The genre is action fantasy, but then there was this huge portion that was dedicated to a bit more of the romance element, which I was totally left field. I did not see that coming, how in depth they went in exploring a little bit more of relationships and a little bit more of love interests and relationships. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, I want to go up and up. Okay. How do I say this? Okay. Well, I love the lore portion of this because the way that they did it was like they progressed the characters to a point that, like, okay, Asuna. No, matter of fact, the funny thing is when he met Asuna, she didn't even like him like that. Like she had a problem with him. They were beefing. You never would have guessed that they would develop a real love relationship. And it goes so deep that, like, I've seen in other animes, like, I guess, Samurai Shampoo or what, Afro Samurai or some other animes that have, like, love-centered things that kind of put into it, but they take their time with this, making you literally feel like these people are really falling in love. And it's done so well that you don't want to see them part ways, when they're put into a situation. But the only spoiler I will say is that, do you know Yui? You remember Yui?
Which one? No, which one? Which character is Yui?
Okay, Yui is technically Kirito's daughter, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh, yes, 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 of course.
I'm not gonna
Of
say who
course.
the mom is, but at a certain point in the middle of this whole anime, there's this whole other character, Yui, and she's a baby. She's just a kid, and she loves her dad and she loves her mom. And like you see Kirito as a character come from being the lone wolf to the fighter to the protector to the love interest to being a dad, like a real dad. And he's faced with this objective to try to protect his family. And that, in and of itself, that just got brought into the story, which was crazy. I didn't expect that. I expected the
I didn't
love
expect
interest, but I never expected a character like Yui to kind of pop up. Like, okay, wait, who are you? Where did this come
that.
from?
That's how it completely. Actually, yeah, I know Yui came in for about. She was only in for a short period of time, a few episodes, but she really, I know, she just came like. And then the other thing was with the episodes and the way they put them together. They really. It was like whole chapters, whole episodes that they dedicated to exploring different themes. It wasn't just all about this one quest, of how they're going to deal with this virtual world that they're stuck in. And if
Yeah,
they die, that they die in real life.
yeah,
It wasn't just that. They just took time away from it to explore that Yui character and spend time with her and what is going on with all of that, exploring that in a really in-depth kind of way. It was surprising that they did that. I totally didn't expect that whole 2 or 3 episodes they spent with Yui, and yeah, really unusual.
yeah. I think that one of the other takes that I say about this is that at a certain point, you kind of feel like these characters are not going to make it out. And I'm not saying that they made it out. I'm not spoiling that. But I
Hmm.
feel like at a certain point, you feel like they're not going to make it out. And they're kind of like, they're okay with that. Like the characters get to a point, like all the characters, they get to a point of like, okay, this is our real world. and we're gonna make the best of it. We're gonna live in this reality. Some take it as an opportunity to kill and be destructive. Some take it as an opportunity to building like a kingdom,
Hmm.
building like an empire, and actively getting people together, rations or whatever they have to do.
Hmm.
And you see that with Kirito and Asuna. They're just like, well, you know what? If we don't make it out, you know what? I'm still happy. And I wouldn't have even expected that because I guess after a certain long period of time, I was like, they might not make it out. They might be stuck in here forever until they die. And that
Hmm.
might just be the end of this anime. Because a lot of animes, they don't last for 2 seasons. Like, they get so good and they're just one season, 25 episodes. This was the first one that I saw, except for Attack on Titan, that's going to have a second season as well, that's really good. This one is got its own second season, and it's going
Hmm.
even deeper. Which this one, I mean, they could have ended it, and they would have been stuck in there. And that's a lot of times, like I think with the culture, like they'll go to those depths. That's why the filmmaking is so deep, as far as where links are they willing to go with the story, or how do you take a character to the beyond, and kind of bring them back in a nonchalant way with the American films versus how they're doing it. And I mean, man, it just kept me guessing every 5 seconds. I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I was on the journey because wasn't that kind of standard story where you can just predict what's going to happen.
Yeah,
They really took you on a lot of ups and downs and all the way through it, and that's what I love about it. Yeah.
yeah. It was.
I can't wait to see the second season. I am so excited.
I mean, well, this is what I'll do. We'll talk after this, and I'll tell you a little bit about like what to prepare yourself for, because every character that is in SAO, or I mean, well, there's two. I think there's multiple different directors of how this, I guess, is broken up. So they were first in Sword Art Online, which is SAO, and then it's Alfheim Online, which is ALO, which is the second half of the season, and then the new season is GGO, which I'm not going to tell you what that one is, but it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. But every character that's in those two are in this one, and just make sure you go back through the season if you can before you look at the second season, because 9 times out of 10, somebody that you thought was a bad guy or a good guy in this one is the opposite in the other one.
No.
Because they're avatars. I mean, this is the thing that I was telling Joe. I was like, Joe, there are times where you play a video game, right? And you get really frustrated. Like, you're trying to beat this level and it doesn't work out. And you get so frustrated that you kind of get emotionally involved. These characters, I don't know on the long term, mentally, the effects that being in this world for years would be on a human being, because they immerse themselves in because they had to live in there, you know? And I would see times where Kirito would get so upset when somebody would die or something would happen that he would have like outbursts and he would just kind of like put himself in danger. But I know
Mhm.
that I do that playing a regular game when I get upset when like one of my characters get killed. I can only imagine mentally. Like, it's like I think I would be dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, in all honesty. Like, I
Right.
really would. I couldn't fathom coming in the real world after that.
Don't they address a little bit of that in the season?
Maybe.
Okay, they do look at it in an emotional, from a psychological state. There is that whole psychological element with people being trapped in a game world that is, in a virtual world, and these people have all their senses and awareness, and they know that their bodies are in the real world, in comas, and they know that their families are worrying out there, and in the game, your psychological state is so important, because if you lose hope in the game, then you won't be able to move forward in the levels, and then you'll be more susceptible to be killed, and it very much is a very real life or death journey.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I forget that these are kids. I forget that. Like, these are not all of them are adults. Some of these are just kids. And
Mm.
like, what was the movie that I looked at? Well, I mean, of course, The Hunger Games. But there was another Japanese movie that I looked at a long time ago. I forgot the name of it. But basically, it's kind of along the lines of Hunger Games. And these kids are put in this situation where they have to survive, and they're killing each other, you know? And I mean,
Mm.
at a certain point, midway during the movie, you realize you take a step back, like, these are kids. I couldn't even do that with this because I was so involved with the characters. Like, I think it wasn't until the end of the season I was like, man, these kids are like not even 15, you know, and they're dealing with all this. Like, how are they going to become adults, you know? And so,
Well, the game sort of forces them to grow up pretty quick, doesn't
yeah,
it?
I mean, yeah, I
They,
mean, well, they get
they
stripped of childhood basically.
and then they're forced to just take on those roles, even though they're far too young and not ready for it. They just are forced into those situations.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Um, I guess progressing through this, what is your favorite moment for the first season? And then I'll tell you, I'll try to tell you mine.
Favorite moment. Ooh, I haven't really thought about that. I think that one of my most interesting moments that really made the whole thing take this huge turn was uh, through that in that midway point. So just when I thought everything was wrapping up and like, okay, I know what's happening, I know where we are, I know the quest that he was trying to finish, and and here we are at the end of this, and we're in this final moment here. I know what's going on, and then the halfway point kind of came through, and suddenly we're on this whole new journey, and I was like, what? What is happening? And there are some moments in the outside world, so in the real world, not the virtual game world, in the real world with Kirito, but he's not Kirito in the real world, he's whatever his real name is. That and when he I can't really share these things because they're spoilers. but, but when he's in the real world, sort of seeing who he is in the real world versus who he is in the game, I thought that they were my favorite moments because it just showed two sides of a person and how you can have these two separate, different types of attributes to make up one personality, but how you can strengthen one or the other to be your best version of yourself.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I have two. One is the first half. I think when Kirito he had partied up. This is the same kind of system like any other game. Like you can party up with people in like an Xbox 360 game. And he partied up with some people that were a lower level than him. And any gamer knows, and when you do that, you put other people at risk, you know. But he did that, and there was a casualty because of it. And the person that died, like, had really, I guess, left an impression on him on a deep level, emotionally and just mentally, you know. And when that person died, like he just completely lost it. And I mean, I think it wasn't his emotional breakdown that messed me up or that I thought was an epic moment. I thought when he came back to where the person lived and he realized the person had left him a specific note for why he needs to stay in this game, what is his purpose here. I thought that was a really turning point for me to see Kirito as a character, his evolution. Um,
Oh, good one. That's really excellent. Yeah, I totally agree with that. That was very shocking. Very
yeah, it messed me
shocking.
up. I was like, I gotta take a break.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Mm.
the second one, I was between that one and the second one. The second one I can't talk about, but it's the
Oh,
end of it's the finale of the first season. Like,
okay.
I, well, let's just say
I
this.
didn't see that finale coming. I would say that.
I didn't
Not,
either. Well, I
that's
mean,
not
no.
how I thought it would end.
Well, see, I don't even know. Well, no, that wasn't even the finale. It was the episode before the finale. The finale took place in the real world, technically, and then the finale that I'm talking about took place in the game. And I was like, wow. I was like, well, my dude Kirito, I guess there's not gonna be a second season. it was just so heavy, and I felt so much fear for these characters. I realized that I have some serious investments in these characters because what was happening to them, each and every one of them, I was like, man, no, don't do that to my favorite character. I can't believe you're like doing this. I was like, get up, get up. I was so messed up. I said, Joe,
Yeah.
I can't take this no more. I can't.
What did you think of it?
Joe loves this show. Joe is in love with the show. Like last night, we were supposed to look at the new episode, but he was coming back from work. I think work has been tying him out completely, so that's why he hasn't been on a lot of the different reviews and stuff. But Joe is so captivated by his characters. I think his favorite character is Leafa. That's his favorite character, believe it or not. Like he just loved the second half element of her progression of her story. But
Mhm.
as an artist, Joe is an animator. Like he does animation and he also does graphic arts and then pen style painting. So he just loves the look and the feel of this anime. Like it's just
Yeah.
for him, it's like eye candy. Like it looks beautiful. Every fight. That's one thing we didn't even talk about. The fight scenes are epic.
We haven't even talked about the action part of it yet.
We haven't talked about
The
it at all. At
the
all.
fighting the fighting is awesome. What do you think about the villains as well? Do you like the villains?
I loved every single villain. I mean, because they're not the same. They're not the same. They don't. None of them had the same motivation. Some of them, I don't even know if I can consider them villains, but just victims of being in the situation.
Right.
But the actual story, the creatures of the actual show, like those things, those bosses are just insane. Like the
That
way that
well done, yeah.
it was just epic. It felt like a game, but it felt
Yeah.
like something scary. If you put yourself in a situation like, how are you supposed to beat something like 12 or 14 feet tall that can literally chop you to shreds? And if you get hit,
Mhm.
you're dead.
Yeah, some of those moments in the fighting scenes as there were casualties was absolutely tragic because you knew, like, because you forgot, oh, it's a game because of the scale of it all. It looked like a game, it felt like a game. They're so long in the virtual game world that they forget and then you forget, and then there's a casualty, and you're like, hang on a second, that person just died for real.
Yeah.
This is not a game.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the
Mhm.
other things about the fighting that you realize that the stronger these characters get, the more durable they are. I didn't realize that because when Kirito, I think it was a bridge scene or something like that, they were fighting, and he was protecting Leafa. He was in the second world, and these guys they try to ambush him, and they thought they could beat him, and he just kind of walked gracefully as he's getting cut. In normal cuts, after a certain point, you're gonna die. He's just getting cut all up, and he's not getting injured at all. That's why I realized, okay, this guy is bad A. Like you do not want to mess with Kirito. Like he will take you out. He's one of the best at what he does. He really is. But I didn't realize the gravity of how strong he really was, or how long he's been really playing until
Mhm.
like I kind of saw that. And I guess that is kind of how it is with the way I play Destiny. Like with Destiny, the more armor and the more experience I get, like I could take a pounding. Like I could get somebody that's shooting me for a long period of time, and I not take really any damage, and I just take them out with one shot. And that's, I guess, the levels and the peaks that show. But you see characters though that form factions that don't make sense. Like there's some people that will come up and they'll have this own group of like, I guess the murder group was the one that I thought that didn't make any sense. I was like, why are you killing people? Like, why you just want to go kill everybody? Like, look, we got a peaceful thing going on here. We need to figure out a way out. If I was everybody, I was like, look, let's push. Let's go to the front. And let's try to get out as soon as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
yeah.
That's crazy. We
Cool.
talked a long period of time just about the dynamics of the story and just how heavy it was. We didn't even talk about the action to this time.
I know, and the action is just as awesome. Those fight scenes, the teamwork that they have, and strategy. That's the number one word for me, strategy. That gameplay mindset and that gameplay strategy, which is so important when you play we play video games, and I was totally into it.
Oh heck yes, it was awesome. It was awesome. I mean, um, I don't know. I can't say any more about it. What I was thinking though, we've talked a lot about the good. Um, what about any cons? You had any cons about the show?
Well, a con could probably be the same thing that I thought was a pro, and that was that just before the halfway point, they completely deviated from the plot which you were expecting, the quest, and they took a sort of romantic interlude, you might say, for a couple of episodes, and they focused on romantic elements for like 2 or 3 entire episodes. And for me, it was a pro because that was completely unusual.
Yeah.
Animes rarely do that, take this little hiatus from the main journey. So I thought that was pro, but I could see how people might think it's a con because it's a different. It was a different type of pace. Things slowed down.
Hmm.
Not really any fighting. It was a little bit more like romantic. So
Yeah.
some people might not be into that.
Yeah, I guess some people would be like, well, this is not what I asked for, you know. But my theory is that a lot of people are hopeless romantics, and they're not gonna say it. A lot of guys are not gonna say it, but we love stories just like other people. Like we'll like the action, but it's like, man, put a little bit of love in there. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I don't know. I love that turn. I didn't think it as a con either, but I guess I see what you're saying. Some people really are just there for just the action and the
Mm.
violence.
Well, because it only was for a couple of episodes, I think that if you were watching it from the beginning through, you might have thought maybe it was taking a turn for the rest of the season, or maybe
Yeah,
there was going to be more of these sort of pockets sprinkled throughout. But really, it was just that concentrated couple of episodes that I'm thinking of.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and then uh, yeah, I don't wouldn't really have any other cons. I mean, one little con might have been the villain, or like the bad guy in our second world, in the second half. The main bad guy who also has he's a character in the real world and also comes into the gaming world. So we see him in his real world self and his game self, and he's the bad guy there. And he got a little bit too. I thought his motivation was different. Like I didn't mind the motivation, but it was a little bit too psycho. I don't know. There wasn't. He was just a bit of a freak, I guess.
I mean, he was. I mean, his character. He was a psychopath. Like there's
Yeah,
something
he was a psychopath.
mentally wrong with him. And I mean, the thing about this show is you'll see every demographic of people. You'll see the psychopaths, you'll see the people that are anxiety ridden, you'll see the people that are really just normal people turn into a bad situation. Like I think that's what the show excels at. It shows you the different layers of people that are a part of this world and how it affects everybody. And I thought that
Yeah.
he was just kind of thrown in there, and I was like, I hate this guy. Like I
Yeah.
beyond hate him. I was like,
He-
'cause when what was it? The first episode of the second half when he got introduced and he said what he was doing, I was like, Kirito, take this dude out in the
yeah.
real world, kill him now.
So that's what I mean. The only thing that could have been a little bit of a con for me was that he was just immediately evil, and he didn't really have anything redeeming him. He wasn't like a tragic villain. You know, some villains are so tragic because you empathize with what they're doing, even though what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah,
He was just straight up nuts and bad. End of story.
yeah. I mean, there is a character in the second season that is a psychopath, but I think you're probably gonna fall in love with them because there is like a back underlying to them. There's some meat to them, and it's some
Ooh,
mysterious
okay,
kind
yep.
of meat. I'll leave it at that. I can't say it, but it just is psychopathic as his character. That's all I can say, really. Um, for me, let me think. My con, I only had really one con with this whole entire thing, and me and Joe pointed it out. There are certain animes that I'll name one that does this too much, and this is not to this level. But High School of the Dead is one of my favorite like action. It's a zombie anime. This is like zombies stricken this high school, and you got these band of high school students that are trying to protect themselves, and they make it out, you know. But the thing with this show, what I think detracts the show, and the reason why it only stayed with one season, it should have went to second season, is they had way too much fan service. Like in the sense of showing like too much of the ladies' bodies and too much nudity and stuff like that. I thought that this didn't have a lot of nudity at all, but certain shots would pop up, and you're like, okay, I don't want to see this person's body right now. Like, why is this person's butt in my face right now? Like, you know how like you can take a physical camera and you can kind of zoom and tell with the commercials that what they're doing. This is an anime. Like, you have to draw it panning to that section. And,
Is that the terminology for it? Fan service?
yeah, fan service is the terminology where like you basically you get in the anime, you think it's just an action or a love anime, and you're getting like way too much nudity or way too much. They're talking about like the different themes, or even it'll show too much. You know, with High School of the Dead, they just show too much and they talk too much. With this one, it was just certain scenes where I was like, what? Me and Joy pointed out, I was like, I don't want to see that right now.
Too much. Yeah, I sometimes get like that if the women's costumes are too much, just too much.
Yeah.
There's one out now that a lot of people are talking about. It's Akami ga Kill. Have you heard of that one? It's a new one. It's out right now, and it's action in a sort of in a different world, and it's what am I trying to say? A group of people are leading a bit of a revolution against the government, and it's fighting and raids and that kind of thing. And yeah, it's really quite good. Except there's a couple of females that have the most ridiculous costumes, and I can't get my head around it. I want to listen to what they're saying. They've got like giant bouncing boobs with like this much material, and I just can't take it seriously.
Oh man, I mean, yeah, I don't think that they didn't overplay that in this, but that's the only nitpick that I would say about this anime. That's the only thing. Everything else, I love it. I'm invested in the characters.
Yeah, if that's your main thing, that's your con, then that's pretty good, because it's not a very big con in this. Because you're right, it doesn't play too much in this particular anime, unlike other ones that I've seen.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that sometimes that detracts from it. I mean, I think that that's also another cultural thing that they're okay with that. To an degree with a lot of the animes and a lot of the mangas. But I mean, for me, like, there's a lot of times like I'd see a really great anime and I'm like, I can't share this with somebody now because this is in there.
And if I share it, people are going to think I'm
perv. Exactly. I'm not perving out for anyone.
So, has this anime inspired you to go and get the manga? Are you looking at doing
I want the manga so much. Like, I'm going to, which I've talked about in a lot of my other videos, I'm going to New York Comic Con, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that they will have like the mangas there. Because when I went to New York about a week and a half ago, went to the comic book store, Midtown Comics, which is a really awesome comic. It's 2 layers, 2 floors, which is so cool. But they had their own section, and the person that was the store owner, he was like, "Yeah, we are sold out. This is one of the top mangas out right now, one of the top shows out right now. It's on high demand. You can get it online." The funny thing is, you cannot get the DVDs or the Blu-rays except on Amazon, and even that I don't even got any of the English dub at all. But guess how much it costs? Just guess.
$40?
No. It is about
$60?
$140 per section of just the first season. In four
No.
sections.
That's obscene.
It is. I mean, well, no, it isn't because I was about to buy. I was so tempted. I was like,
You were gonna do it?
I was gonna buy them. I was like, I don't know if I can do without this show. You know, I have to have this in my collection. But what I was taught when I talked to somebody at FYE, who was a really big anime buff, he had said that there's gonna be an English dub and a dub that's gonna be coming out. I guess a more complete pack. I think that the one that's out on Amazon is really just for overseas usage, which is fine. But I cannot wait for these to come out officially. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
Matter of fact, they got a game. They got a game for the PlayStation Vista, and I was like, I might have to play this. You know, 'cause I love this game. I love this movie or this show.
yeah,
Um,
I would assume, of course, they'd have a game for it in conjunction with this one. It needs a game. I mean,
yeah. Ooh, they're actually on sale now. Um, wow, they're actually on sale now. They're actually only 70 bucks. If you get like, I guess there's part one, and then there's part two, but I don't know if these are from London or not, because they've got the little, the one emblem, little red one emblem. I think this is from London. But anyway, but yeah,
okay.
whenever it comes out, I'm buying it.
Done.
It's a wrap. It's already said and done. But yeah, what time is it where you
Cool.
are right now?
It is just about 11 p.m. So I should get going.
Yeah, I know you need to definitely go
Um,
to sleep. You're literally living in the future, and I'm in the past.
in the future. You, Sam, quit living in the past.
I can't. I just can't.
It's
There's nothing I can do.
all about the future.
Anywho, but yeah, this awesome anime is so good. You definitely have to go check it out. It is on Hulu Plus, the first season and the second season. If you have Netflix, unfortunately, Dell doesn't. You can definitely check it out on Netflix as well. But can you get Hulu Plus? Can you get Hulu?
I don't even know. I've got to check it out. Not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not
you should
sure.
check that out so you can try to see the second season. But yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming, Adele. Like, this was awesome reviewing this.
Thanks for having me. It's fun discussing it. And oh yes, I got to get on the second season because I'd like to catch up. If they're halfway through the second season, I'd like to catch up so I'm back on track and then at it in after the finale or something.
Oh, heck yeah. Like, when you get done, we'll come back and we'll do part two for Sword Online 2.
Sounds good.
I'm down.
Um,
Yeah, this concludes this. You got anything else?
no, I think it's all good. Oh, actually, here's a question. If you had to live in the first game, in the first half of the game, or the second game, which game would you be in?
Um, I don't even know because, well, I second season. Like, I love the combat style of the first season. I love it. I love it. I love just the dual wielding. Like, I'm a fighter when it comes to those kind of games. But the element of being able to fly, like at high speeds, like they are. Like, there was one scene towards the end of the season where you see Kirito having to go through hundreds of guys and he's pushing with force. Like, I would love to be able to fly. Like that just psychs me out, you know what I'm saying? So that probably would be mine. What about you?
Yes, I would agree. I would agree. I thought that the first game couldn't get better, and I liked how it was kind of old. It felt like a bit like ancient times, and everyone
Yeah.
had swords and stuff. I was like, this is kick-ass, and like the
Yes.
drink. Yeah, I was like so into it, and then comes boom, the second half of the season, the second game, and I'm like, this is even better. How is this possible?
And you wouldn't expect it because they're fairies. I mean, they're basically like fairies. I was like,
Mhm,
what?
mhm.
When I first like looked, and I was like, they're flying around with like little. And then I realized these characters are serious. It's so
Yeah,
serious. Mm,
amazing.
yeah, but yeah, we could keep going on and on about this, but you need
Yeah,
to
we
get some
could.
sleep.
All
you,
right.
you need to get some sleep. Thanks for coming. Everybody
Thank
go and check
you.
out Adelle's channel,
Thank
youtube.com/hello
you.
roll credits. Check out
Hello.
on Twitter. And yeah, just follow her. Follow her, please.
Mhm. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I hope that we can come back soon and do season 2. Is there anything else? Is there any other anime you're watching right now?
Right now, no, Destiny's got me all caught up. I will show you this though. Let me see if I can get them. I'm actually now caught up in this. I don't know if you can see it.
Ooh,
The
Death of
Death of
Wolverine.
Wolverine. Yeah. Like I mean, I've got like a lot of other comics. Like I've got the first issue of Walking Dead, which they re-released that. I've got like a couple of variants, which this is really cool.
Ooh.
And Batman's like cloning himself. And then like there's a brand new Spider-Man comic that just came out. It's gonna be all different Spider-Man in one universe. So it's gonna be crazy. But the Death of Wolverine, that's got me caught up in between that and Destiny. Like I haven't had time to do anything else. Like I there is another anime that I'm looking now. I can't remember the name of it though. But I will get back to you and let you know about it.
All right. Let me know. Let me know.
Definitely. But everybody, this is SCL0320 signing out. Dell, you're awesome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Soon. Deuces, everybody.
Bye.